afternoon. It's Sunday, the 12th of March. I'm Yael Shir, and this is IBA News, broadcasting live from Jerusalem. Jordan has freed from prison the soldier who shot dead 7 Israeli schoolgirls from Beit Shemesh in 1997. The Jordanian authorities quietly released Ahmed Dekamze last night, but he returned to a hero's welcome in his northern Jordan village. Jordanian media released footage of the celebrations, which included congratulatory gunshots into the air. Dekamze became a hero among Islamists and nationalists in Jordan. But despite efforts to free him, the Hashemite kingdom kept him behind bars until he completed his sentence. Tomorrow marks 20 years since the soldier cold-bloodedly opened fire on a group of Israeli girls from the Amit First School while visiting the Island of Peace near Nahar Yahim on a field trip. He would have faced the death penalty, but a tribunal claimed he was mentally unstable. After the incident, former Jordanian King Hussein got down on his knees before the mourning families in Beit Shemesh to personally apologize for the murders. Dekamze never expressed remorse for the massacre, saying in a 2004 interview that he would do it again. President Donald Trump has invited Palestinian leader Mahmoud Abbas to the White House to discuss resuming the peace negotiations with Israel. The two spoke by phone on Friday, the first time since Trump took office. White House sources quoted in the Al-Quds Daily said Trump told Abbas that he appreciates him, sees him in a serious partner, and heard many positive things about his commitment to achieving peace in the region. The call lasted about 10 minutes, and the issue of Jewish settlements in the territories and the American embassy were reportedly not discussed. The telephone call, initiated by Trump, came ahead of an expected visit to Israel by Jason Greenblatt, one of Trump's top diplomatic advisors. A spokesperson for Abbas said a date for the meeting would be set soon.
President Abbas committed himself to a peaceful deal with President Trump, and we hope that the Americans and the President himself personally, because what we noticed tonight, that President Trump is a very honest man, very courageous man, looking for a deal, a just deal, and we are committed so far. President Abbas will be in the White House very soon, and we will start a new era.
The Israeli government has to do more to embrace the totality of the Jewish people around the world. This, according to Rabbi Richard Jacobs, the president of the Union for Reform Judaism in North America. He was recently in Israel and criticized the government's failure to implement its decision to set up an egalitarian prayer section at the Western Wall. More on this report from IBA's Ari O'Sullivan.
A progressive prayer session at the Western Wall recently. Led by Rabbi Rick Jacobs, the leader of the massive Reform Judaism movement in the United States, the prayers passed without incident.
There are men gathered, we could be there. Look, there are women gathered, we could be there. Oh my gosh, look over there. There's a very joyful and beautiful and inclusive and spirited Judaism. That's where I want to be.
Rabbi Jacobs is troubled that the government has not yet implemented its decision from a year ago to allow egalitarian prayer at the Western Wall by Reform and conservative Jews.
I've tried to establish a policy that enables the Kotel to be receptive to Jews from every part of the Jewish world. And this is something that remains our policy.
But he is encouraged by the appointment of Minister Tzachi Hanegbi to find a compromise with the Orthodox over the Kotel.
It's not going to be implemented with prayer alone. It's got to be implemented with real deep dialogue with the different parties. Tzachi Hanegbi said very clearly that he is ready to do that. He understands North American Jewry and that the majority of Jews in the world need to know that in this place they are not only welcome, but they have a place to offer prayers as we do throughout the world.
Some 2 million Jews are members of the Reform movement, the largest stream of Judaism in North America, and with generally liberal leanings. When Netanyahu goes to the AIPAC summit at the end of the month in Washington, Rabbi Jacobs wants him to know that American Jews aren't just interested in Israel's security, but also its character and values.
I hope the Prime Minister will not only address, as he always does appropriately, the security issues facing the state of Israel, but what are the moral and what are the democratic issues facing the Jewish state, and how will he make sure to lead this country with decisions that embrace the totality of the Jewish people and ensure the rights of all citizens of this country.
He also warned that the cozy relationship Israel is giving to President Trump could have negative ramifications in the future.
We are fearful that in this moment, that what's happening is Israel is becoming a partisan issue. And the statements that many people make it seem that only Republicans can be pro-Israel. Only Republicans can be real partners with Israel. That is a damaging shift. We must prevent that.
Rabbi Jacobs also took issue with recent Knesset action that he says weakens Israel's democracy, like the Muezzin bill.
I can't imagine how that is good for the state of Israel, to be harsh in limiting the free expression of the Muslim community in Israel. I would caution many of those in the Knesset who feel that this is the way they will protect Israel. I think this is the way they endanger Israel, and I would hope that this whole series of legislative moves will be stopped. I hope that many of them will be reversed.
The support for Israel by the Reform movement is strong, and his criticism is out of love. But it seems that the schism between this large chunk of diaspora Jewry and the current Israeli government is growing. Aria O'Sullivan for IBA News.
The NYPD now believes that one person has been behind the ongoing bomb threats against Jewish community centers and institutions across the U.S. The Commissioner of Intelligence and Counterterrorism at the NYPD, John Miller, told CBS News this morning that they believe one man has been using a voice changer and a phone spoofing device to give the impression that multiple people were issuing the threats. The commissioner has described the suspected offender as a typical coward. Over 100 Jewish institutions have been targeted with bomb threats in 2017. The most recent incidents have taken place in Brooklyn, New York, including the Jewish Children's Museum, the Jazza Senior Citizen Center, and Midwood High School. So far, none of the bomb threats have been real, and no devices have been discovered.
A country that
Purim celebrations continue throughout Israel today with the traditional carnival parade in Holon, boasting street performances, acrobatics, and giant floats. Over 200,000 people watched the parade. Purim is a celebration of the failure of a plot to kill the Jews in ancient Persia. Holiday customs and rituals include reading from the Megillah, gift-giving to the needy, baking hamantashen, which are three-cornered pastries, and wearing costumes. Jerusalem residents celebrate Purim one day later and will have their own parade downtown. At 10 a.m. tomorrow, the organization Women of the Wall will be reading the Megillah at the Kotel. The closure imposed on the West Bank Palestinians for the holiday will be lifted at midnight tomorrow. Renowned Hollywood actor Richard Gere is in the country. The Officer and the Gentleman, who now stars in Joseph Ceder's latest feature, Norman, the moderate rise and tragic fall of a New York fixer, arrived to take part in the movie's Israeli premiere. The film, which opened in theaters across the country over the weekend, features Gere as Norman, a known wheeler and dealer who lands a deal with a rising Israeli politician, played by Israeli actor Lior Ashkenazi. The politician later becomes prime minister, and the rest is history. Gere took part in a special press conference at the Jerusalem Cinematheque alongside Ceder and his fellow co-stars.
You want to know the truth? I'm not interested in politics. I'm interested in human beings. What I remember most is learning the map of what is now Israel and will be Palestine. This place will become a place of healing for the rest of the planet. That's going to take a lot of time, a lot of energy, a lot of commitment on all levels, but that's what I see.
In sports news, Team Israel continues on its winning streak, defeating Cuba 4-1 in the quarterfinals of the World Baseball Classic at the Tokyo Dome. Cuba gained a lead in the second inning with a home run, but Team Israel took a 2-1 lead in the sixth inning. The next matches for Team Israel, which originally came into the tournament as the underdog team, are against the Netherlands on Monday and Japan on Wednesday. Nearly all of the members of the Team Israel are American Jews, and the team is represented by the mascot Mensch on a Bench, a life-size doll of an Orthodox Jew. It's Sunday, and in keeping with our weekly tradition, here are 5 good news stories that may give you a reason to smile. Israeli scientists at the Technion Institute in Haifa have developed a new method to analyze tumors and detect cancer cell replication in human cells within hours, rather than the typical assessment time of several weeks. The The state of Israel has the most Twitter followers of any country in the world at 373,000. Israel's Twitter posts cover a vast array of topics, including Israeli food, culture, travel, startups, and trade relations. Following Israel is Canada, Spain, Mexico, and the UK. Have you spotted your kids ferociously scratching heads only to discover they have head lice? The Israeli startup Tech Care from Rosh Ha'ayin has invented a toxic-free solution called NovaKid, which gets rid of the itchy pests by vaporized vinegar and ultrasound waves. The streets of the Old City of Jerusalem will come alive with the sounds of the Old City Festival. In this exciting musical celebration, every genre of music will be represented, from Armenian folk to classical arias to Jewish cultural songs. The festival runs from March 20th through the 23rd. And finally, several prominent Israeli artists are contributing to the art exhibitions at the South by Southwest Music Festival in Austin, Texas this week. The trio of artists hope to create a fresh perspective on the festival through a series of scenic portraits. And turning to the weather forecast, the IBA team says tonight will be mostly cloudy with scattered showers and thunderstorms in the north and central regions. Here's a look at the highs and lows for the next 24 hours at home and abroad. That's all for this newscast. Join us again tomorrow, same time, same channel. Until then, I'm Gere wishing you a good evening, happy Purim, and shalom from Jerusalem.